I get it, this channel is about Steven Universe fan show reviews, but since most of them are dead, I decided to move to other review-based content. Today we'll be talking about Blade Randy and how much of a f***ing train wreck it is. That's right, a series called Blade Randy isn't the equivalent of The Room. It's not funny, it's not even ironically enjoyable. It's just a steaming pile of shit on the side of the road that nobody should acknowledge if they wish to live. But luckily for you guys, I don't. Before we begin this review, I want to share that I have never seen the Blade Runner films, and I would like to share my thoughts on the continuation of the series from both the perspective of somebody who hasn't seen the films, and from the perspective of someone who just finished the films to go watch Blade Randy. This should be fun. Also, Frontier Resolution, don't think I know what you do to any person who tries to review your work. I know the relationship between you and Slug Thing, channel in the card above, and I know exactly how to respond to people like you. This isn't a hate crime against you. This isn't me calling you out for things. This is simply a video response to the content that you produce, and to hopefully bring to light issues that can be fixed with practice and time. I will say this one more time. I am not here to bash you as a creator. I am here to look at your content critically, and to give my thoughts on what the next step should be. Now that the disclaimer is out of the way, let's talk plot for a moment. Blade Runner, to my knowledge, is a film series starring Harrison Ford. It's a cyberpunk dystopia-styled film where these things called Blade Runners hunt down rogue androids that are called replicants. The first film was directed by Ridley Scott, famous for the Alien franchise, in 1992. The second film, Blade Runner 2049, was directed by Dennis V, who also directed Arrival in 2016. Both Blade Runner films are loved by fans and enjoyed by moviegoers. The style of the films are a clash of film noir, sci-fi, and action. Essentially, it's Sherlock Holmes in the future. In space. Blade Randy should follow these genres, and at least come close to the tone of these films, right? If you're a smart person and realize that sequels to films should be similar in genre/tone to the ones prior, then you would agree. Frontier Resolution says otherwise. Blade Randy is a film series about a Blade Runner in the year 2069, and I hope that's not a porno that's gonna be created in the future. A year where Blade Runners are no longer needed as replicants have taken their place in the human race, even though replicants are essentially totally fine with humans according to the original Blade Runner trailer, but not welcomed on Earth. Okay, so there was a slight error when I was recording this. I actually didn't know too much about the Blade Runner films. However, to correct myself, essentially what I'm saying is that the replicants are already kind of chill with humanity, but they don't know that they're actually used for slave labor. So just keep that in mind. I don't really know too much about Blade Runner except later on, which is now. So this is like recorded like several days after I recorded this audio, so just gonna correct myself there, alright? As the name suggests, Blade Randy is a film about a character named Randy. Before 2069, the prequel to this first fan film, which is no longer available, it's revealed in detail that Randy's parents were killed by replicants. Randy goes on the run to escape the replicants and runs into Deckard, the original character of the first film. Deckard, played by Harrison Ford in the original films, portrayed by Pat Harshell in the fan films, trades Randy into being a Blade Runner, not knowing he was a replicant, or knowing he was a replicant and just kind of keeping that hush-hush. Randy then uses these skills to kill rogue replicants. This not only means he is killing his own kind, but also doing his job. I don't know about you, but this kind of makes a paradox for me. Is it illegal for him to kill replicants because he is one, or is it illegal because he is a Blade Runner? Answer in the poll above. Anyways, this pisses off Trell Corp, and they bring Deckard in to kill Randy. So, we got quite a bit of plot there. Hope you understood it, because I'm moving on. You can tell just how much of a mess the plot is for the 3 films, because I really have trouble explaining it. We got paradoxes, Randy, and a whole lot of canonical mishaps. The worst part is that we may have one more final film after this, most likely named Blade Randy 2071, and it most likely having a lot of Mary suing and other bogus shit that doesn't matter at all to the plot. Like the water scene, which I'm going to be playing in full here, just so you know what I mean. Cinematically amazing. Truly ranks up there in the most engaging scenes in cinematic history. Blade Randy has some awful characters and mediocre writing. The best way I can describe the characters is by literally stating basic bullshit. Randy is a mumbling Gary Stu who can do literally anything immediately and effortlessly. Deckard isn't a veteran of blade running, and is just kind of a chill grandpa. The Tyrell Corp guy has a bad Russian accent and isn't very intimidating. He looks like a cool dad to hang out with and go see baseball games, honestly. Everyone else is just kind of cannon fodder or not really necessary. Nobody has any actual character or depth. They are just character archetypes. It makes Kunze Universe's characters look like godly beings. It somehow can make Rey from Star Wars Episode 7+ look like she has actual depth and character. Anything Randy does is solved and finished within the short. Anything the cannon fodder do is pointless because they die in one hit. Some of you may be saying, it's his first time writing characters. I would have to agree, but he literally writes possibly intriguing characters in his next work, Changed Man. It baffles me how he doesn't improve the characters at all through the series, yet he can somehow write in the work filmed after this. He can write, and I don't know why, he just didn't postpone Blade Randy 2070 and rewrite it to have actual characters. Let's talk about that writing again. Writing is something I have some skill in. Again, let me say I have some skill in it. You could remember that I helped write Lost Gems, an episode I am really proud of in the Blue Gem Guardian series, and I have written/rewritten plenty of episodes for my own series, which is still in progress. So I do have my feet in the water, and I can say that what I have said so far in the character section and the section coming have evidence to support it. The writing for these shorts is mediocre. There is decent writing in there, but it leaves much to be desired. I am guessing that there are no notes on the script to give direction to the actors, what actions to do, because each delivery feels forced and half-assed. Nothing really follows behind it, and all it does is progress this plot. And the plot's boring. But guess what? Again, he proves that the writing can be good in Changed Man. In his newest miniseries, Randy has written characters who not only have character, but have dialogue exchanges that give more backstory and depth to them. Blade Randy does not have any of that. There are no lines that allude to history. There are no lines showing things in the past or foreshadow to happen. The entire series is just a bunch of tell, don't show. That's not how you write any of it. But because the writing calls for things to be discussed over phones instead of shown, all we get is garbage that nobody cares about. It's boring, and I pray to God that Blade Randy 2070 fixes this. I know what you're saying. There is foreshadowing in Blade Randy 2070. It's between Deckard and Randy, because essentially Randy has found out something that the replicant told him. But if you go back in the film, you'll notice that there is no dialogue exchange. There's just, hey, choose your words carefully. Die. That's pretty much it. It's just a fight, and that's about it. So, he tries to do foreshadowing, but he doesn't do it well enough because he doesn't plan ahead. Just let that sink in. Before I move on to the next point, if you'd like to hear anything about the cinematography and editing, I urge you to go check on the videos by Slug Thing, because he does a great job explaining it. But, moving on to the next point. Look, I don't act much. I'm a voice actor first and physical actor second, so my knowledge on this is kind of very, very basic. Luckily, I have friends who do act and have taken classes in the field of acting. So here is what my friend Joey has to say about the acting in Blade Randy. The acting is terrible. Randy sounds drunk all the time. The actor playing Deckard isn't bad for being just a relative that was willing to help. Very fucking helpful, Joe. Essentially, what he meant to say was, Randy is an awful actor who can't emote. Deckard is alright in terms of a relative being dragged into this, and the other actors have nothing to write home about. As I said, I am a voice actor first, physical actor second. But the acting throughout the series is something that makes Kunzite Universe's voice actors look like Leonardo DiCaprio. To remedy this, just practice more. That's all I can really say. So I just spent about 4 or so hours to watch the Blade Runner films, and I can safely say that no, they don't work as sequels in the slightest. Both the tones of the two films are way too different than the fan films, and it makes the fan films feel more like, well, how do I put it? Soap operas. The performances are either poor or over-animated, the story and tone follow a to-be-continued style, and the tone tends to be varied between the two shorts. The writing is childish and leaves much to be desired. The editing is choppy and lacks the polish of a more veteran editor. Again, practice makes perfect, and learning it from other people who know a thing or two about editing could really help improve things, like the freaking water scene. I'm not going to play it in full, don't worry. All the issues presented in this are simply the effects of a lack of experience. Personally, I shouldn't bash this series this hard, especially since it's done by a novice director. But if I can't be critical, then nothing will probably change. So please, do us all a favor and make Blade Randy 2071, or whatever you're going to call it, into the stepping stones into a much grander project. Hopefully things work out for you in the future. This has been Michael B. coming back once more, a new video or two every month, and a whole lot more to come. Stay fresh, my squiddos.